So Papoose just got caught walking back into his wife's house with the keys still on his ring. And the internet is acting like nobody saw this coming. Baby, we saw it coming. We saw it coming from a mile away. And no, this is not me speculating. I have the photos. I have the timestamps. I have the receipts. I have a whole little dossier sitting right here on my desk, and we are going to walk through every single piece of it because something happened this week that I do not think Claressa Shields wants you to look at twice. So if you have been wondering why Papoose has been moving the way he has been moving, why Remy Ma has suddenly gone quiet in that very specific way that wives go quiet when they already know, and why Claressa has been online sounding like a woman trying very hard to convince herself of something, you guys sit down. Sit all the way down, because what we are about to lay out is going to rearrange the entire narrative this man's new girlfriend has been selling you for the last 2 years, y'all. Let's get into this, because here is the thing that is being slid under the rug. Papoose did not just stop by Remy Ma's house. Papoose did not just drop off little reminisce and bounce. Papoose went home. There is a difference. There is a very important difference between a man dropping off his daughter at her mother's residence and a man unlocking the front door of a house his name is still attached to, walking inside, sitting on a couch he picked out, and spending time with a woman he has been with for 22 years. That is not co-parenting. That is not a courtesy visit. That is a man going home. And every single woman watching this video right now knows the difference, because every single woman watching this video right now has either lived it or watched her best friend live it. So let us stop pretending. Let us stop performing this little choreography for the comment section.
He went home, you guys.
He went home. Now get this. The picture that started this whole spiral, the one that is currently breaking Claressa's spirit in real time, was not even posted to embarrass her. That is the part that is so brutal. It was a father-daughter moment. Papoose holding little reminisce. The baby looking like a tiny clone of her mother. The baby laughing. Papoose laughing. The lighting soft. The energy warm. The whole frame screaming family. And listen when I tell you that this single photograph has done more damage than 1,000 diss tracks ever could. I mean it, because a diss track is noise. A diss track can be argued with. A photograph of a father, a daughter, and an entire history sitting in one room cannot be argued with. Just exists. And the people who needed to see it saw it. And the person who did not want to see it absolutely saw it. And I want you to sit with that for a second, because that is the entire story right there before we even get into the receipts. So already you see the tide shifting. And I am going to say something here that I think a lot of y'all already know but are afraid to say out loud. Claressa Shields was sold a version of this situation that was not real. She was told the marriage was over. She was told the divorce was around the corner. She was told that she was the new chapter and Remy was the old book getting thrown in the donation pile. And I am sure in those early months that story felt completely airtight. The hard launches, the fight night appearances, the matching outfits, the whole production, it looked like a transition. It looked like a passing of the torch. But here is the problem with selling somebody a transition that is not actually a transition. Eventually, the truth walks back through the front door with a set of keys and sits on the couch. Listen, I want to break this down for y'all properly, because I think a lot of people are missing the architecture of what is actually happening here. 22 years, 22. That is not a relationship. That is not a marriage. That is a civilization. That is two people who built a language nobody else speaks. That is shared trauma, shared triumph, shared scars, shared inside jokes that nobody on the outside is ever going to get the punchline of. You do not undo 22 years and 18 months of red carpet appearances. You do not undo 22 years with a fight purse and a press run. And anybody who told Claressa otherwise was lying to her, possibly because they wanted to see how the experiment would play out. And the experiment, my friends, is playing out exactly the way every grown woman in this comment section predicted it would. Hear me out, because I know there are going to be people in the comments saying, Tissa, you do not know their business. Tissa, you are reading too much into this, Tissa. People get divorced all the time. And you are right. People do get divorced all the time. But there is a very specific tell that lets you know when a man has actually left his wife versus when a man is performing the public choreography of leaving while keeping the back door of the marriage propped open with a brick. And Papoose, my dear friends, has been propping that door open with a cinder block. Let me give y'all a good visual. He never moved out for real. He never closed the joint accounts in any meaningful way. He never took the tattoo off his form. He has not pushed the divorce filing across the finish line. Even though both of them have had more than enough time and more than enough lawyers to make it happen, he still has the keys. He still has the codes. He still has the access. And men, when they are truly done with a marriage, do not keep the access. They give the access back. They hand the keys back. They change the locks themselves if they have to. The fact that the locks have never been changed is the whole story. And get this, because this is the part that I think is going to send Claressa into a separate kind of spiral. The picture of Papoose and little Reminisce that has been circulating, it was not taken at a neutral location. It was not taken in a hotel suite. It was not taken at a family member's house. It was taken inside the home. Papo still has access to the home. Remy is still in the home that bears every signature of a family that was never actually dismantled. So when you look at that photo and you see a father holding his daughter, what you are actually looking at is a man who never left. Photographed in a house he never gave up, with a child whose face is a living, breathing copy of the woman he supposedly walked away from. The visual is the receipt. The location is the receipt. The smile is the receipt. The little girl herself is the receipt. Now, the funny thing about this whole situation is the way Claressa has been navigating it, because I want y'all to pay attention to a very particular behavior pattern. Every time something happens that makes the marriage between Papoose and Remy look intact, Claressa does not stay quiet. Claressa does not let the moment breathe. Claressa rushes to the timeline with the counter-narrative. The "we are having a baby" talk. That he wanted a son, so I am going to give him a son talk. The "we are engaged." No, we are not engaged. Well, we might be engaged talk. The string of little public proclamations that all seem designed to do one thing, and one thing only, which is to perform permanence. Because women who actually have permanence do not have to announce permanence. Women who actually have stability do not have to wake up every Tuesday and reissue a press release reminding the public that the relationship is still operational. Listen to me very carefully, because this is where the psychology gets interesting. When a woman is secure in her position, she goes quiet. She gets cozy. She disappears into the relationship because she has nothing to prove. The women who are constantly broadcasting, constantly clapping back, constantly responding to every blog post and every comment thread are the women who can feel the foundation shifting underneath them. And what Claressa has been doing for months now is essentially a public stress test of a relationship that keeps failing the test in private. The harder she pushes, the more obvious the gap becomes. And every time Papoose ducks out of a public appearance, every time he is photographed somewhere he was not supposed to be photographed, every time a new picture surfaces of him being a father in a house that is not theirs together, that gap widens. And Claressa knows it. Trust me, she knows it. But here is what I really want to talk about, because this is the part that nobody wants to address directly. Papoose has not made one single move that a man in a real new relationship would make. Not one. He has not moved in. He has not bought property with her. He has not given her a ring with any real weight behind it. He has not introduced her to his daughter in any meaningful, sustained, family integrated way. He has not put her in the will. He has not put her on the insurance. He has not done any of the small, quiet, unglamorous things that men do when they are actually starting over with somebody. What he has done instead is the loud stuff. The cosmetic stuff, the fight night appearance, the carousel post on the gram, the little bracelet here, the little backpack there, the kind of low-stakes gestures that read as romance to a woman who has not been around long enough to know the difference between romance and a man stalling. I am going to say something now that I want every woman watching this to write down somewhere. The bracelet and the backpack are not the relationship. The relationship is the deed. The relationship is the joint account. The relationship is the emergency contact card in the wallet. The relationship is the boring stuff. And the boring stuff in Papoose's life, all of it, every single piece of it, still has Remy Ma's name on it. Every last document, every last beneficiary line, every last legal tether, 22 years of paperwork is not unwound by an engagement rumor that nobody can actually verify. It is not unwound by a baby announcement that nobody can actually confirm. And it is certainly not unwound by a series of public posts designed to convince Twitter of something the law has not yet co-signed. Anyway, let us keep going, because we have not even touched the daughter piece of this yet. And the daughter piece is where the whole narrative actually breaks open. Little Reminisce is the variable nobody factored in. And I mean nobody because when you are constructing a clean break, when you are trying to build a fresh chapter with somebody new, you can fudge a lot of details. You can spin a separation. You can edit the timeline. You can rewrite the public F-facing version of who left whom and when, but you cannot edit a child. You cannot edit a baby who looks exactly like the woman you supposedly walked away from. You cannot edit the way a father lights up when he holds his daughter. You cannot edit the soft focus, undeniable biological pull of family. And little Reminisce sitting there in her father's arms looking like a tiny photocopy of her mother is the one piece of evidence that no public relations team in the world can spin. Now, here's the one thing I do want to say about Remy Ma in all of this, because I know there are people watching who think I am holding her up as some flawless figure. I am not. Remy Ma has her own complications. Remy Ma has done plenty of things in her career and in her marriage that we could spend a whole separate video unpacking. But the conversation we are having right now is not about whether Remy is a saint. The conversation is about whether the marriage was actually over before another woman was brought into the picture. And the evidence, the photographs, the legal status, the keys, the codes, the access, the ink on the forearm, the unfiled divorce. Every single one of those pieces is screaming the same thing in unison. The marriage was not over. The marriage is not over. The marriage is in a strange, complicated, public, embarrassing, very much still alive state of suspended animation. And the third party who got recruited into the situation under the assumption that the marriage was finished is now learning in real time on the public stage that she was working with bad information. Y'all know what this is, right? This is the oldest playbook in entertainment. A man tells the new woman the marriage is over. The new woman believes him because she wants to believe him, because the alternative is admitting she helped destabilize something that did not actually need to be destabilized. The man enjoys the new attention, the new visibility, the new young energy, the new public boost. He uses it to refresh his public image. He uses it to re-enter conversations he had aged out of. He uses it to remind the industry that he is still relevant. And then slowly, quietly, when the cameras are not pointed at him, he goes home. He goes home to the woman who actually knows him. He goes home to the bed he actually sleeps in. He goes home to the daughter who actually looks like a continuation of him. And the new woman is left holding the press release. And listen, I want to be really careful here because this is not me celebrating anybody's pain. I do not celebrate the pain of women, even women I disagree with. I am not in the business of dancing on Clarissa's shields. Claressa is a champion. Claressa has done things in her sport that nobody else on the planet has done. Claressa is the most decorated boxer in American history. Full stop. So when I say what I am about to say, I want you to hear it as concern, not as a victory lap. Claressa, baby, you are being used as a public relations accessory. You are being used to refresh somebody's image. You are being used as the temporary distraction while the long-term arrangement remains exactly where it has always been. And the longer you stay in this configuration, the more your own brand, your own legacy, your own historical record gets entangled with a storyline that was never designed to end with you in the photograph. Now, get this, because this is the part that I think is going to set the comments on fire. The single most damning piece of evidence in this entire situation is not anything Papoose has done. It is what Papoose has not done. Listen to me carefully. He has not filed. He has not closed it out. He has not put a single legal nail in the coffin of this marriage. And men, when they are truly done, file. Men, when they are truly done, push the paperwork. Men, when they have actually built a new life with somebody else, do not leave the old life dangling like an open browser tab. The fact that the marriage between Papoose and Remy Ma is still legally, technically, formally, fully in effect more than a year after the world was told the new relationship had started is the loudest possible signal that the new relationship is not what the new relationship was advertised as. Anybody pretending otherwise at this point is not paying attention, or worse, they are pretending not to pay attention because the alternative is too painful. Hear me out. I want to take a quick detour because I think this case sits inside a much bigger pattern that we do not talk about enough. We have an entire generation of women being recruited into the back end of marriages that were never actually concluded. We have an entire genre of public relationships that are functioning as decoys for marriages that nobody had the courage to end. And the women who are getting recruited into these arrangements are getting their reputations, their timelines, their personal lives, their public images burned for the sake of somebody else's midlife adjustment. And the worst part is the public watches it happen, and the public claps for it, and the public participates in the fiction until the original wife shows up in one photograph in one frame with one child, and the entire architecture falls apart in a single afternoon. Y'all, let us talk about little Rainey's for a second because this is the heart of the whole thing. There is a baby here. There is an actual breathing, growing little girl whose father is being yanked between two public narratives. And every single adult in this story has an obligation to her that nobody is honoring. Papoose has an obligation to her. Remy has an obligation to her. Claressa, by virtue of having inserted herself into the proximity of this family, has an obligation to her. And the obligation is very simple. Stop performing the breakup. Stop performing the new relationship. Stop using the dynamics of this child's family as content for the timeline. Either go home, fix it and build the thing back, or actually leave, file the paperwork, and let everybody move on with dignity. The current arrangement, this halfway in between, neither here nor their state, is doing damage to a child who did not consent to being a footnote in anybody's image rehab campaign. Now, the funny thing about all of this is the way the internet has chosen sides. Half the comment section is rooting for Claressa to win. Half the comment section is rooting for Remy to reclaim her husband. Almost nobody is rooting for the actual best outcome, which is that the adults in this story sit down behind closed doors, off camera, away from the timeline, and figure out what is real and what is performance. Because right now, what we have is a public reality show with no producer, no editor, and no off switch. And the people getting hurt the most are not the rappers and the boxers and the commentators. The people getting hurt the most are the kids watching their parents become memes in real time. And little Reminisce is going to grow up. She is going to be old enough one day to scroll back through every single one of these timelines, every single one of these clips, every single one of these blog posts. And the adults in this story are going to have to explain to her line by line why they could not get it together long enough to protect her from the spectacle. Listen, I want to come back to the core of this because I do not want us to lose the thread. The core of this is that Papoose has the keys. The core of this is that Papoose went home. The core of this is that Papoose, in the most quiet, most nonverbal way possible, has told the entire world where his anchor actually sits. Papoose did not lose his way back. Papoose did not forget the address Papoose chose. And it does not sit in a new relationship. It does not sit in a new public F-facing storyline. It sits in the house he built with the woman he built it with and the daughter who looks exactly like the woman he built it with. Everything else is theater. Everything else is choreography. Everything else is filler. And I want to address the people in the comments who are going to come at me and say, Tissa, you are being too hard on Claressa. I am not being hard on Claressa. I am being honest about Claressa. There is a difference. Being honest about a situation is not an attack. It is a service. And the service I am trying to render right now to every young woman watching this video who is considering entering a situation that looks like Claressa's situation is this. Before you sign up to be the next chapter, make absolutely certain that the previous chapter is actually closed. Ask for the proof. Ask for the paperwork. Ask for the legal documentation. Ask for the deed transfers. Ask for the joint account closures. Ask for the will updates. Ask for everything. Because if the man cannot produce any of those things, what you are not stepping into is a new chapter. What you are stepping into is a chapter that the man is using you as a bookmark for while he figures out whether or not he actually wants to close the old one. Now get this, because there is one more layer to this that I do not think people are fully appreciating. The reason the photograph of Papoose and little Remy's hit the timeline the way it hit is because the photograph contained a truth that no caption could distort. Captions can lie. Headlines can lie. Statements can lie. Press releases can lie. Photographs of a father in his element with his child in a house that bears his fingerprints cannot lie. And the visceral reaction that this image generated the way it spread, the way it cut through every other piece of content on the timeline that day is because the audience recognized on a gut level what they were looking at. They were looking at home. And home, my friends, is the one thing in this entire saga that has never moved. Anyway, let me wrap this up because I could talk about this for another hour about Papoose and Remy and Claressa, and we still would not have covered every angle. The big takeaway is this. Pay attention to what people do, not what they post. Pay attention to where the keys are, not where the cameras are. Pay attention to the boring documents, not the loud announcements. The boring documents are where the truth lives. And the boring documents in this story are still in Remy Ma's name. The keys are still on Papoose's ring. The daughter is still a tiny living portrait of the woman everybody was told was done. And the new relationship, the one that has been hard-launched and relaunched and re-relaunched over the past 18 months, is starting to look more and more like a very expensive intermission rather than a final act. Y'all, before I sign off, I do want to say a word to little Reminisce because I think she is the only true innocent in this whole story. Baby girl, none of this is your fault. None of this. The adults in your life are working through some things that they should have worked through long before any of this became public. And the fact that you have ended up in the middle of it is not on you. You are loved. You are wanted. You are the spitting image of your mother in the best possible way. And whatever happens between the grown-ups in the story, you're going to be just fine because you come from a line of women who have figured out how to survive far worse than a timeline cycle. You're going to be okay. Hold that with you. And to Claressa, because I want to be fair, I want to say this. You are bigger than this storyline. You are a champion. You have done things in your sport that we are going to be telling our daughters and our granddaughters about for the rest of our lives. Do not let your historical record get co-written by a man who has not figured out whether he wants to close his old chapter. You deserve a relationship that does not require a public relations strategy to remain operational. You deserve a love that does not need to be relaunched every other week to feel real. You deserve, frankly, a man who has fully exited his previous arrangement before he asks you to enter a new one. And if the current configuration does not deliver that, you have every single right to walk away with your head up and your record intact. And to the rest of you watching, here is my final thought, and then we will get into the comments. We have to stop participating in the public dismantling of marriages that have not actually been dismantled. We have to stop sharing the engagement rumors and the baby rumors and the matching outfit photo carousels as if they are evidence of something real. They are not evidence. They are content. And content in this economy is engineered to generate clicks, not to reflect truth. The truth is in the deed. The truth is in the title. The truth is in the daughter. The truth is in the keys, and until the deed changes, the title changes, the daughter forgets her mother's face, or the keys come off the ring. None of this is what it is being marketed as. So that is where I am going to leave it. I want to know what you guys think, because I know this comment section is about to be one for the ages. Are you team it is over? The picture means nothing. Are you team he never left? The picture is the whole story. Are you team free Claressa? She got recruited into a situation that was misrepresented. Or are you team this is messy on all sides? Everybody go home and reassess. Let me know in the comments below. I read them.